I suppose the only real way to give this talk is this little talk is to speak from the heart. I think it was about 7 years ago. I was in Toronto doing a Shabbaton, and I was invited to come along to a Shabbos meal, which was being visited by a group of Israeli soldiers, officers who'd been wounded, serving the Tzahal, serving the state of Israel, serving the Jewish people. And here there was a group of about, I think if I remember rightly, 30 guys, 30 soldiers who had been seriously hurt protecting Jewish lives. And I was supposed to speak to them. And I don't think I got very far. I just got so emotional. I felt so humble. So I felt so inappropriate that me speaking to them when, I mean, I suppose I'm a rabbi, but they're the tzaddikim. To be willing to give your life to save Jewish lives, it's a big thing. I think we all know that the Talmud says if you save a life, it's like as though you saved the world. Well, if you save lots of lives, which Jewish soldiers do, then you've saved lots of worlds. Well, what did I have to say to them? But I remember another story about Israeli soldiers. This was happened in South Africa. There was a Shabbaton in a very nice hotel in South Africa. And there was a young man, I would say he was about 30, 35 maybe, who was going and following me about from place to place. And after Shabbat, there was a bar, and I said, let's go for a schmooze. Let's go and I'll buy you beer. He obviously wanted to talk to me and tell me his story. And there was two other guys there, two older guys I would say in their 60s. And they were sitting at the bar as well. And they were listening to the conversation. So this young man started telling his story. And when they heard his accent, they started speaking in Hebrew. And he had been a soldier in the first Lebanon War. They thought this was a joke because they'd been in the Yom Kippur War. What was his story? His story was he's a boy from Bnei Brak. His father, I think the father was a Holocaust survivor, or maybe the son of a Holocaust survivor. Whatever it was, the Yerusha, the inheritance of that experience was that the father was extraordinarily hard and strict. And anything the boy did wrong, and he said he remembers, I remember him telling me this, once his father was attacking him verbally at the table. He had to hold on to the table with his hands so he wouldn't hit his father. His father took him to see the rabbi. The rabbi says, if your son hits you, it will be your fault. Well, he wanted to get out of the house and he wanted to rebel. You can't blame him. And a good way for a boy from Bnei Brak, in those days anyway, to rebel against his parents was to join the Tzahal. And he did this. And it was, as they say in English, out of the frying pan into the fire, because it was just the first Lebanon War. His job was setting up field hospitals. He was very good at this. And he became promoted and promoted until he was in charge of, where the field hospital should be. He, together with the medical staff, decided which soldiers coming back from the front needed to be evacuated to Tel Aviv for immediate surgery and which ones could wait. And one day he said, and it was, as they say in English, a baptism of fire when he said he was driving to the base. There was a boot lying by the side of the road with a leg in it. So he obviously saw horrible things. One day he was transferred to another hospital. And there was a nurse. And the nurse saw him and walked towards him. It was his sister. And in the middle of this war, they just hugged each other. And he said to her, tell Abba Iman that I forgive them. I know they tried their best. And that was the end of his rebellion. I think that this horrible, horrible Hamas war, this is the end, I think, of our rebellion against each other. It's terrible that it's taken such a thing to unite the Jewish people, but I've never seen such achdut, such unity amongst the Jewish people, amongst Klal Yisrael, and so much support and so much tefillot for our brave soldiers. I just feel very humble talking to soldiers, Jewish soldiers, saving Jewish lives. I have nothing really to say because I think you are the tzaddikim. You're brave. You're fighting in such a just cause. But I don't think in all of the wars that during my lifetime Israel has fought, so I was born in 1955, the ones that I was aware of anyway, none of the wars has been so openly for the survival of the Jewish people everywhere in the world, like the one that's being fought now, fought by you. So you're not just fighting an evil enemy, you're fighting evil. You're not fighting for justice. It's not good against evil. You're fighting for the good and the survival of the whole Jewish people against Islamo-Nazis. I give you every bracha that I could possibly give you. First of all, you should be successful. You should be successful in good health. You should be victorious. The experiences you have should not scar you. You should return triumphant, and you should recover as every single one of those hostages that you can. And we should, as a people, see only bracha v'hatzlacha and a smile min hashamayim that once again Klal Israel has found our achdut and saluted our soldiers. Thank you very much for allowing me to speak to you.